forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Partly but you choking your phone like you're texting your boyfriend whole night. Isn't it with you he's supposed to be? He over there fetting whole night. You over here stressing your life when he's only one you have to live. Don't really wanna intervene, but did you come here with your team? She said no, no, no. Tell me to go so I could leave if I don't intervene. She said no, no, no. That look like trouble in the morning when the niggas start to walk up, when the music start to pump up, and the girl ready to ramage. Trouble in the morning when I'm nowhere close to sober, when the party I was over, and everybody ready to jump and ready to jump and I tipping and whining, no me, don't care if he friend them hold me. I hear where this man supposed to be. Why is he seen boy? I don't wanna cause no drama, but that bam bam hold me mama. I just wanna take you home with me. Don't really wanna intervene, but did you come here with your team? She said no, no, no. Tell me to go so I could leave if I would intervene. She said no, no, no. That look like trouble in the morning when the niggas start to walk up, when the music start to pump up. Oh girl, I'm taking you home with me. Trouble in the morning when I'm nowhere close to sober, when the party I was over, and everybody ready to jump and yourself in the music. Music. Yeah. Don't really wanna intervene, but did you come here with your team? She said no. Tell me to go so I could leave if I would intervene. She said no. That look like trouble in the morning when the liquor start to act up, when the music start to pump up, and the gal are ready to ramage. Trouble in the morning when I'm nowhere close to sober, when the party hours over, and everybody ready to jump and trouble in the morning when the liquor start to act up, when the music start to pump up.
It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
And everybody ready to jump and trouble in the morning.
Well, I tell you, it's a whole lot of trouble in the morning.
Pump up, and the gal are ready to ramage.
Guess what? It's coming to you on New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. This is where we take you above and beyond. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad Tobago, neighbors in the Caribbean, friends who are streaming all around the globe. A beautiful day to you. Yes, it is a Thursday. The weekend is in sight, and of course, we kick the doors wide open to your weekend here on the NETT. Let me say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. All that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. People, I'm your show, Sir Charles. Happy am I to be in your company. So we're getting up with you. Remember, this is your Get Up and Go. We welcome everybody to the breakfast show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. You have a little echo there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's Thursday morning, and as Dr. Job used to say, Thursday. And we are happy to be with you this morning. Happy birthday. Let me get my birthday greetings out the way. Heard this Pauline. This used to be at what? TTT, I think, or TV6, one of those television stations. Kerry Franklin, he's a pastor now. He's a police officer. And I have a police story to give you all this morning. Aki Laurie out there in Cocorit. Shane John, that gentleman who you always see with Penelope Beckles Robinson. He used to be head of Parang Association. I think he might still be involved with Parang. Suzanne Phillip, Curtis Dookie passed. Curtis Small, Ronald Ramey, that's a good friend of Richard. So Richard will probably come and wish him happy birthday also. Maria Christopher, she used to be my sister-in-law, lives out there in the United States. Sherwin Beggs, well, Cocorit people, St. James / Cocorit people celebrating birthdays today. Raymond Huggins, he's also from St. James. He used to work with me at one time. Happy birthday, Raymond. He was there just yesterday. He is celebrating his birthday today. Shari Jacob, and Terry Innes, along with Nafisa Muhammad. She is also celebrating her birthday today. So
yeah, that was my schoolmate, you know.
Who's that?
Nafisa.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Not the Nafisa Mohammed from who used to be the politics, you know. Her name is spelled differently, but it's pronounced the same. So
good morning, guys. Yeah, and good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are across the planet, and good morning to my co-hosts. I was just getting my coffee. I needed this morning.
Yeah, I too. That's why I have an early cup also.
Yeah. I needed it this morning.
Mm-hmm. Outside was unusually dark at 6 at just a while ago. You know, it was darker than normal. So I thought maybe the rain was gonna come, but it looks clear now.
Darker than normal. It have some kind of zombie over your house.
No, well, I think I have a zombie on me, honestly.
Oh,
because I have a police story to give you all yesterday. I think I'm a man, and I'm going to use words in this story that I don't normally use to describe people as idiot and stupid, because that's exactly what that officer is. He's an idiot and he's stupid, right? I am a magnet for them now in the TTPS. I generally don't break the law, especially when driving. I rarely go over the speed limit unless I have to overtake, because I have this device in my vehicle that makes a whole lot of noise when I go over 100 kilometers. And so I stay on the right lane, or I stay off the right lane, except if I'm overtaken. I generally drive very good, right? I'm proud of that, right? Not that I don't break the how I should put it, go over the limit sometimes. But I generally don't. I park on the right side. I don't park in front of people's driveways. I don't park on corners. I face the right direction. All of that I do. But every now and then, I meet an idiot. And what's his name? Because I got a $500 ticket yesterday. And apparently he's known for now being that kind of idiot in St. James. Right? Richard Bulge. Lord knows why he have the name Richard. Bulze, that's his name. Police Constable 10328. So that's probably why he angry too, because he did long, because he looked like he ready to retire and he's still a constable. So he angry. He's an idiot. Because I parked up, somebody was in my driveway yesterday. As normally happens, they park in the driveway, they either block in the driveway or they drive into the driveway and leave their car right on the edge and go their way. So when I came to park in my driveway yesterday, because there was no spots on the Western Main Road, I decided to wait on the corner by Matura Street by City Furniture there, right where the coconut guy is selling. They on the corner, right? But I have no problem with them there. And I waited there and I called the office. I said, who's driving this car? If they could just come and remove it. But it wasn't anybody by me. They parked the car in my driveway and go on somewhere else. So I am there waiting for the person to come and remove the car so I can get in my driveway. A police car pulls up. I didn't even see when they pull up actually. And approaches me. Why are you here? I say, well, I'm just waiting to get into the driveway. License and insurance, please. I say, well, no problem. I just renewed my license the other day, thankfully. I just renewed insurance too in November, thankfully. So I have brand new documents, the shiny Richard. I hand them to him. I say, well, he might be just want to check my documents. Because if he is from St. James Police, then he will know my vehicle. And again, I say, real people have a problem with me and my vehicle. But that's for another story. He proceeds. I don't know why he disappeared with my documents. So I'm waiting now. This time is an old lady. I'm feeling sorry for the lady, who went by Euphies. She could barely walk. Who took the chance and parked in my driveway. So I'm looking at her coming towards the car, and she goes in the car and she reverses out of the driveway and goes. So I say, this man bringing back my document. And then this man bring back a ticket. Listen to the ticket. Payment of fixed penalty notice, right? The motor vehicle, listen to the word in it, because I'm challenging this and I tell him that. The motor vehicle detailed above, which you were driving, using, in charge of, was seen in circumstances which gave me reason to believe that the traffic violation, particulars of which are given above, was being or had been committed. You listen to the word in that? So he's assuming I broke the law based on how he saw me, right? And what is the traffic violation? Breach of traffic signs. That's the traffic violation, eh? Breach of traffic signs. Now, this happened 2 buildings away from me. I am 137. Everybody know that? You see the ad on this program. This happened 2 buildings before me, 133. right? Right in front City Furniture. The location of the offense is 100 Western Main Road, St. James, which is on the other side of the main road, further east. That's the location that come up on my ticket. Richard Bulls, B-U-L-Z-E. I've never seen a name like that. You are an idiot. And I hope you're listening or somebody listening and could tell you that the fellow you get the ticket yesterday, I'm going to challenge it. And I hope I get another. Because it's time, because the TVS, some of these officers doing what they want now. They're doing what they want. That's why Justice Tam's son had to go to court, straight up to the appeal court, to show some of them on the foolishness. You understand? Because they're just doing what they want now on this ticket and giving it to you and say, well, you go to court. Because they don't pay a price. They don't pay no price for it now. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, putting the wrong address is already an issue. But it's something so simple and basic that you could say, well, look, that's a perfect example of exercising discretion. Mm-hmm. You know, because you could say, because I'm sure you would have told him, look, the lady just moved. I don't know if you did.
But he's seeing that. He parked right outside my driveway too. Richard, I could have waited in the road but I decided to move to the side to avoid any sort of disruption. He stopped, and instead of saying, well, okay, just make a block or do something, the man just took my documents, walk away, and come back with a ticket for me. Idiot. I don't normally use those words to describe people, but whoever you are, and I've heard a lot about you since getting that ticket. How you're harassing people in the St. James area. No discretion, no reasoning at all. Stupid man.
Yeah, could have exercised some discretion there, and because I mean, logically, if people explain why, you could kind of rationalize it quickly and say, okay, I get you. Even if you say, well, okay, we'll make a block, or whatever, but you know.
Richard, everybody in that part of St. James know me and know my...
Well, they must know you by now.
Exactly.
I mean, you're living there your whole life.
I've been there 35 years on that spot, that particular spot. I live in St. James all my life, you're right. But that particular spot, 35 years. The vehicle I'm driving, I have it more than 5 years now. It's not a new vehicle. You understand? And if he say he from St. James, but as again, I hear about his reputation, he's an idiot. And I will say no more about it.
There are always areas. I suppose each area has certain police officers that people generally do not like. Because they figure that they take a lot of advantage. I know in Arima, there are a couple that people don't like, find they take advantage. Because people come and talk to me all the time about it. When I'm walking around or whatever. And I wouldn't remember their names, but you know, people talk about them. And when people don't like you in Arima, everybody knows people don't like that bunch or that individual or whatever.
Well, everybody apparently talking about this Richard. He should change his name because most Richards I know are very decent. Bulls, B-U-L-Z-E. I've never seen a name like that either. I don't even know where it came from. I've never seen that name anywhere. On social media or anywhere. B-U-L-Z-E. You understand? But anyway, that's my take from that this morning. Just wasting my time now. I mean, the ticket is only $500, but still, you're just being unreasonable. You know what I mean? And anyway, and I have a dash cam. Yes, Nicola McNichols, I have a dash cam. I don't even need to take pictures. The entire episode was recorded, and my dash cam records voice. So he only asked me one thing. Why are you doing stop? Why you stop there? I said, well, I'm just waiting to go in my driveway. License and insurance. Give him it, come back with a ticket. That's it.
So the thing about it though is that on the road you can't pull aside and stop. That's what they're saying. Is there no stop zone?
But that's what I'm trying to tell you, Sir Charles. I wasn't.
If you're in a vehicle, you can't pull aside and stop.
I wasn't in anybody's way. I was just waiting. I pulled aside so that I'm not in anybody's way, so that the vehicle could come out with
so you're not obstructing traffic or anything.
And let me tell you something. And it is a challenge for anybody who has a business or residence on a Western Main Road, on a main road anyway, because they have to back out into the main traffic. It is something that is a challenge. That's why I don't park in my driveway, really, you know. I generally don't park in my yard, you know. I park on the street or around the corner and I walk to where I go. You understand? Because I know it's a headache parking out there, waiting, because there's a traffic light just west of me. And it's so people back up. And they will see me coming out that driveway and they will not stop to give me a space to come out. They will pull up the space.
Don't. Yep.
You understand?
Discourteous drivers. That's one thing I can say we are. Discourteous.
Oh, yes. So I generally don't park inside the yard. I leave it for the other vehicles, or for whoever customers come in or whatever. You understand? But yesterday there was no spots on the Western Main Road. You understand? And I say, okay, I had to go in my yard. The one time I had to go in my yard, somebody park up. Right? My yard could hold about 8 vehicles there. But people always come and park right to the end. So nobody else must park.
But they don't want to be blocked.
Yeah, exactly. Because they know they're doing something wrong now.
Yeah.
They know they're taking a chance now. But as I said, it was an elderly lady who had walking challenges. And she went by Euphies. And you know, me and Euphies is so good. So, anyway, but that police officer, Richard Bulls, B-U-L-Z-E. I hope you're listening, or somebody listening who could tell you. You're an idiot.
All right.
And that's right. Thank you for that message, Stephen Wilson. He didn't even see me what I do. He come and assume, and the ticket says it. What? The motor vehicle detailed which you were driving was seen in circumstances which gave me reason to believe that the traffic violation, particulars of which I've given, was being or had been committed. He had to be an idiot to write a ticket like that.
He doesn't want to give you a ticket for sure.
Yeah, he is on a hunt.
Because they don't care. They don't pay a price. They generally don't show up in court. And the magistrate is going on and on and on and on and on. And then the magistrate dismiss it. They do that all the time.
Anyhow, let's get into our good news and stuff.
Mom to India for the first time in her life, and she cried from the moment this dream started. She also ended up changing everything for the better, so this is the story. If you don't know, I am on a quest to perform steel pan at the new 7 wonders of the world, and this journey began when I received an international grant in October 2024 to help me fund this. And the moment I found out, I called my mom one time, and what do you think she did? Cried. She really cried. So fast forward to now, I was performing at Christ the Redeemer in Brazil, and a video called her from the top. And what do you think she did? She cried again. So I went back to my Airbnb and I sat down, and I was called to go to India afterwards, and then Petra, Jordan. And while I was sitting down, I was thinking to myself, dog, what are you really doing, boy? Because the thing is, I get to travel a lot now for work, and it's a big blessing, it's a privilege. And my mom is always fascinated by things that now feel normal to me. So like things like Wi-Fi on a plane. She's actually called herself a dinosaur for like not knowing about these things, and also for being fascinated about these things. She used to travel a lot for work before, but not now. She doesn't travel as much, right? Something that I'm very embarrassed about, I've never said it out loud, and it's something that doesn't really sit well with me, is I've taken trips with like girlfriends in the past, just like my past girlfriends and myself, but I have never taken a trip with my mother. And that's something when I realized that, I was like, dog, what I really doing, boy? I living life wrong. And I always said, boy, one day me and mom will go on a trip. But then I was like, when is this one day going to come? And in that moment, I told myself, hey, what, I'll spend the money and bring my mom with me to the 2 remaining wonders, India and Petra. Because the thing is, I could always make back the money. You could always make back the money, but you may never get back the chance to do this. So I did it, and she met me in India. And as I said, having her there changed everything. Because on these trips, like when you look at the captions I post, I always talk about how magical these moments are. But when you're actually in it, you know, it's it's become quite stressful. You know, you're thinking about so many things, all the moving parts, the deadlines, the performance, this, and it is easy to forget to slow down. And my mom reminded me of this because she was just enjoying everything from just the smallest things. She was just soaking up every moment with this joy, and that helped me to enjoy it too. And I always say this to myself: remember that it is your mom's first time experience in life as well. But anyway, this money I had to make back. So all the promoters, all they call me for the Christmas, call me for the carnival. Yeah, all they just call me. Somebody say yeah.
Joshua ain't no shame.
All they call me. Yeah. I want to borrow that line from Joshua. Yeah. Advertisers with it earlier. All they call me. Call me.
He has such a wonderful spirit, eh?
Yeah.
That was such a wonderful thing, you know.
It must have been nice to have his mom there with him.
Of course.
Oh Lord. Good news again. That's good news, Richard.
Yeah.
Joshua always brightens up one's day.
Yeah, this has been good for
He
you,
just made my day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah. That just made me feel real good.
I thinking now I should change your name, you know. Because every time I call your name now, I go be thinking of this idiot.
A bulls. You're going to be taking a bulls.
Yeah. I just call you Ragu from now on. Yeah?
You can't let people disturb your peace.
Anyway, I promise myself I will rant and not rant any further. But I'm tired now. I'm tired of the unreasonableness, the hate, the vindictiveness, the selfishness, the ungrateful. I'm tired of so many things now. It's I don't know now what to say now. And I was having a good day otherwise, you know. I was having a good day, you know. I mean, yesterday had an unusual amount of traffic getting into town, but that was all right. Again. And I went different places. I got through with what I wanted to do, and I reached my place of destination, only to meet bulls. Anyway, Suzette Jessup came and checked me yesterday, though, because I was holding on in Rumbox. Again, I get stick anytime I go there. And so she walked in. And she was so surprised to see me. I said, because I'm not normally here, and I'm not normally here this hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So she walked in and we had a nice chat. So morning, Suzette Jessup, one of the twins. Let's greet people in the chat. Valerie Mendoza, good morning to the breakfast team. Anthony Tinto, he just got in from work after the night shift. Boy Bidesi, Margaret Thomas, Suzanne Jessup, of course, from Suzanne, Suzette, and Mrs. Gemma Peters Halls. Ava Smith, Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach, who is on his way to Trinidad just now. Josie Richardson, Old Lady, Eunice Dublin, Diane Payne, Claire Lendor Rollins, Joyce Phillip, Kenny in Harlem, Marlon Motley, Apollinaire Slick Money Grip, Doreen Pierre from North Carolina, Wendy Ann and Frank James, Carl M. Jack, who I think, if he's not a police officer, still I think he's retired. Odell Guy, Michael Cadet, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Erica Charles, Debbie Modest, Carol Guevara, Merle McCormick, Manuela Peters, Kathy Ann Charles and Arlene out there in Bronxville, Texas, Ozzy Molino, Deborah Noel Surrett, Trini Merle Kitchen from Oshawa, Dave Gosain, Deborah Noel Surrett is also said, that the message came again. Bernadette and Nelicia Yates. Nelicia, what happened with West Indies last night, girl? I watched half an hour of cricket and a knockout. Lambert Bruce from El Dorado. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Nicola McNichols sends birthday greetings to all those celebrating birthdays. Florence Bazi, Stella Services. Carl Jack is saying it's an SRP number. Well, yeah, he's an elderly guy, but he just looks angry. He looks angry. Rena Boodoo Jennings, CJ from New York. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, CJ.
And hope you, as I say, you feel a lot better. Nicola McNichols, did you take any pictures? As I say, I have a dash cam, but I'm not independent on that. I'm going straight to court, and I want Lalla, I want to get his advice when we speak to him later. I wonder if he'll take up the challenge. Prabha Ramdial, Gavin Frank, David McCarthy, Anthony Tinto just got in from night shift, Brent Hackshaw, Florence Bazi is shouting awesome birthday greetings to her elder sisters and great nephew, Deborah Wellington, Sharon Nicholas, and Christian Lakansing. All right, he's 18 years old today. Happy birthday to you all. Elizabeth Suzette Jessup says the man probably trying to get an award for most tickets. Probably. Stephen Wilson, morning. That's the wording is speculative. The ticket is invalid. He is not witness to an offense. And Stephen Wilson is an attorney of some repute. Most likely he may not come to court as well. Yeah, that's what they do. They give tickets and don't bother because they pay no price. That's from David Wares. Good morning. Chef Joe and Joseph. Good morning from Brooklyn. Today is my sister Terry Ann Brathwaite's birthday. Shout out Sir Charles. So that's somebody you know, Sir Charles.
Okay. Good morning, Terry.
Well, happy birthday to Terry Ann. Dean Allen says hi everyone, and the Minister of Security wants to lower the police training time. Nicola McNichols, I challenged the ticket. I left the destination, all lights working and driving, going up the highway, and a light was not working. Ticket, I am challenging it. Florence Bazi, Wendell, and these sisters have a sister between them. Oh, the twins? Oh no, that's the birthday greetings you sent out. December is your birthday. All of us is a year or two apart. Love my sweet sisters dearly. Lovely. I am proud of Joshua's achievements, so says Nicola McNichols. Carol Guevara said, I saw that video yesterday. Blessings to you, Joshua, and Kamala Regret Jr. as well. Garfield Hazel says, good morning. Ian Stewart, also good morning. Cheryl Henry Ekaro, good morning. What the hell I am hearing this morning? Since when a driver parks in somebody's driveway? They do that to me all the time, Miss Henry, all the time. And I generally don't make a fuss, because yesterday I was just parked up waiting for the person to come. I didn't, so it happens. Subash, good morning from Woodland. Jason Samuel, Weston East, 32 for 2. Also, we bowled them out then. We're still trailing by 41 runs. Okay, thanks for that, Jason. Wendell, Weston East, 205 and 32 for 2. New Zealand, 278. All right. Well, Cheryl Henry, I couldn't even fit behind the lady. She parked at the very end of the driveway.
Yeah, you'd be on the pavement.
Yeah, I'd have been on the pavement if I had pulled in. Yeah. So as I say, I get accustomed to it, and so I just wait. Morning to the crew from Ambrose Blood. Those are all the greetings on the chat.
So Charles, over to you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. All right, so good morning to Kent. In Laventel, Mr. Billy off the blocks very early this morning, I must say. Frank out there in Aruka. Sina, good morning. Horatio is here with us this morning also. Mr. Beeps from PT Valley. Peter, good morning to you. Linda out there in London says she knows what it's like to park, people parking in their driveway. All right. Especially when all these parties are taking place. Terry Ann Peters, good morning. Callan and Kelly in Caranage, good morning. Archbishop Ashton Clark, good morning. And Sexy Reds, who says, I'm up early with you guys. So thank you very much. All right, so we are going for the break and we will be back. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
There's no Christmas like Christmas on New Era TT Radio.
The other day, I went Venezuela, and I fall in love with a senorita. I hardly know the lingo, but I really know what she know.
It's a time for giving, caring, and sharing.
It's things like this that get me mad. Who stole the rubbish from my yard?
A time for loving and remembering what really matters most. Greater than from our family to yours. Merry Christmas and a blessed season from New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
It's Christmas. Can't do it without black cake, homemade bread, sweet bread, pone, pastel, and punchacram. Get it at Val's Kitchen in Dabadi. To place your order, call 758-0148. Yes, delivery can be arranged. Val's Kitchen, Dabadi.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Looking for pet supplies that wouldn't bite? Visit Bow Wow Supply Limited, your friendly family-owned pet store at the corner of Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trin City. We offer fabulous prices, great service, and a wide range of foods, treats, toys, grooming products, and accessories. Everything your pet needs in one place. We are open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Coming today, Bow Wow Supply Limited, Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trin City. Your pet's friendly place. Call us at 640-7184.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
All right, so we are back.
We go straight into the newspapers. I don't know if Richard has newspapers today, but I'll start with today's Express. Today, of course, is December 11th, 2025. Only, that's exactly 2 weeks to Christmas. Is that?
Yeah, it could be about that, yes.
14 days, exactly 2 weeks. All right. U.S. seizes oil tanker on the. I don't understand that story, you know. Why would the U.S. be seizing an oil tanker? I really don't understand that story. And they're not explaining it. I mean, you went from drugs to now an oil tanker. I'm not following the story. Maybe I missed something.
Remember, some of those things are sanctioned too, you know. Remember, you can't, because it's sanctioned.
Yeah, so where an oil tanker going? Where was it going?
I don't know where it was going.
So the U.S. could sanction, I understand the sanctions against Venezuela, but how is it working in the waters there, those waters there? And I'm confused. Yes, what the U.S. is doing is bullying Venezuela and provoking Venezuela into some kind of action. That's the only thing I could see going on there. Because we gone from drug boats, double strikes, now to an oil tanker. If that isn't provocation, I don't know what is. Anyway, 4 soldiers staged robbery. That's 4 men dressed as soldiers staged a robbery in Maloney, apparently. Quick clean sweep on that Signal Hill secondary. That's football. And some other stories trending in today's Express. Trump confirms U.S. seized oil tanker near Venezuela. Again, no explanation. Guyana signs U.S. military cooperation agreement. Gunpoint video, grenade threat. Bonus Island couple still missing, and that's the Tardies. The 22-year-old mystery of Mark Prescott. I remember that. A boy who had disappeared some 22 years ago. And the quiet, non-violent killer. Those are all trending stories in today's salary. All right?
All right, so I'll go straight to the Newsday for today. And the Newsday, the trending stories in the Newsday. Opposition independent senators back fireworks legislation. RHA employees to benefit from PSA wage hike. Well, those will be those attached to like the Ministry of Health who are not in RHAs, who are not contract workers in a different sense. So anyway, some of them will benefit. 6 homeless after Monrepo fire. All senators pass firework bill. Thanks for repeating that story. And Tardier, I will always say Tardier. Yeah. Family on PM's fishy ransom statement. She had no ill intent. So that's Roger sues Rowley over Facebook post. Brown hits hodgepodge finance bill. And that's it. Over to you in the Guardian, Sir Charles.
All right. So in the Guardian today, Tanku Blank's PSA says government can't include health workers in Christmas back pay. And another story is cops, Defense Force probe robbery by soldiers in Maloney. That's a fishy story. Gonzalez slams PM's fishy kidnapping comment as insensitive. Special Victims Department seeks public support to curb digital violence. Dukoran says son's Exim Bank dismissal unjust. And of course, Roger sues Rowley for defamation.
Another story which I missed, which Amjad Ali just sent to me, which I saw last night on the news.
I'm actually not opening it.
Which was actually on news last night. It was part of business news last night. That there is now a private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago called PSOT. People need to work on their acronyms when they're making up names. PSOT. That sounds like a cuss. What the PSOT you doing by me, boy? The PSOT for me now.
Is it headed by Amjad?
No, Richard Lewis, who from Label House. So the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago, PSOT, let me say it in British accent, maybe it makes it better. PSOT was unveiled on December 10th as a single coordinated voice for business. So I think it's like it amalgamates all of the private business organizations under one head. As a single coordinated voice for business, positioned to work alongside the Ministry of Trade and Investment and Tourism to drive export growth, attract capital, and reverse the country's chronic foreign exchange shortage. The body is chaired by Richard Lewis, Executive Director of Label House Limited and former President of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. Lewis and Minister of Trade, Industry and Tourism, Satyakama Maharaj, who delivered a feature address, depicted PSOT as both an institutional solution for fragmented advocacy and a practical tool to help deliver measurable forex and investment targets. A lot of fancy words there. PSOT's mandate largely involves consolidating business representation and accelerating export readiness. But I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
To have everybody under one umbrella in terms of, and especially in terms of treating the state, because you have so many disparate voices. And sometimes business organizations, because you might have this Chamber of Commerce in Maruga Chamber of Commerce, and you have the Arima Chamber of Commerce, and you have the Penal Chamber of Commerce, and sometimes they kind of talk along political lines in a kind of way. So So it's good to have one organization. I think it's a good thing that is representative of all of those organizations.
Yeah.
So that's also, so thank you, Mr. Ali, for sending that. I did see it on news last night and was something to mention.
Mr. Ali. He doesn't like to be called Mr. Ali. I tired call him that, and he said, "Mandel, my name is Amjad."
Okay.
Call me
Amjad. Thank you very much.
Call Amjad. Huh?
I just corrected it. I said, okay, Amjad, thank you so much for saying that. I did see it on news last night, and I thought it was interesting. And I saw Mr. Maraji, Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism, talking about it. So
yeah.
Hopefully it yields the kind of, I think they want to make it a little bit more agile and more robust in terms of how things are done. So hopefully that yields the necessary fruit in that direction. But of course, at this point, we can open up our lines because we have gone through what the main news items are. So there's the telephone lines. And of course, I saw that Commander Dindial and also Gary Griffith, but that Commander Dindial was how would I say this? Taking the Minister of Homeland Security to task about saying that the radar in Tobago could help with the kidnapping case. In saying that the
Another joke, right?
Well,
if the story, there are allegations that the boat came from Venezuela, or they were Venezuelans who took him back to Venezuela. So the radar didn't pick that up. Is he saying that the radar can?
He said that the radar can assist. The Minister of Homeland Security saying that. Commander Dindial says, well, I don't know. I'm just saying what he said. And I'm just saying, referencing what Commander Dindial said. Commander Dindial said something along the lines of the data from that radar is ready for the Americans. And so there has to be some sort of intersect for sharing that information. But he went through a kind of explanation, so I don't really want to get into it. But he just said that it wouldn't, in his opinion, it wouldn't have assisted. And I think Gary Griffith also said something on the issue too. He said that the Minister of Homeland Security is being irresponsible by, I think, suggesting that.
Because the US put up the radar for their purposes. They didn't put it up for our purposes.
Yeah. Well, it's on our property, so it's not on US Embassy soil.
Right.
But
we gave them permission. As a matter of fact, we were told we asked for it.
Well, yeah. But I don't know. But I mean, it's if it was that, is that the speculation that he was taken to Venezuela?
That's what a lot of the reports saying.
Yeah.
All right. So while we cross the pool,
all kind of stories, because they said the ransom demand has been reduced to 400,000. They're trying to negotiate 400,000 TT. So I don't even know. But you're hearing all kind of stories, Richard. I don't know how to make of it. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kraft, see what the poll will be today, and
I did already.
All right. Okay.
I'm on top of things, I don't know about all you.
Mr. Patrick, good morning.
Yeah, morning. I want to be happy this morning. A pleasant morning to Mr. Richard Ragubasin.
Morning, sir.
Morning to Mr. Wendell Stephen, and a pleasant morning to Mr. Charles. Sure, I'll be even nice today?
Yes, definitely.
You know, I was listening to the news last night about the Chinese people, or some Chinese. There was a Chinese, right?
Yeah, you say knees, not knee. Knee is a derogatory word. When you say Chinese, is a derogatory word to them.
You go take out your thing with the police that way. Right? Nice. When I was talking about the zone of peace now, right? The government ministers and the government people. And they try to make a call to find out what the Prime Minister was to say, yes, and you know what he said? No call she to deal with this foolishness.
No, don't call it a disturber with such rubbish. I don't think she said foolishness, she said rubbish. Well, first of all, to be fair to the Prime Minister, I don't know what was the value of journalists asking her to comment on that because she's already said what her position is on that. So I felt it was a little silly. This is my opinion. I can only echo my opinion. Even though they were interviewing diplomats in Beijing, because apparently a lot of CARICOM diplomats in Beijing for something, whatever it is. And they were interviewing various diplomats. They didn't really criticize the prime minister per se. They were just saying that they basically re-emphasizing that the Caribbean is a zone of peace.
No, she was upset.
And so they asked the prime minister what she felt about that. And I felt, why are you asking the prime minister? The prime minister already indicated why she sees that Trinidad Tobago why she sees the Caribbean is not a zone of peace. She has explained that on several points. So why are you asking her again?
Typical provocative media.
Yeah, it's like. So when I could, when they reached out to the prime minister, I was like, why? She's already articulated on this, and then she responded apparently via WhatsApp saying, "Don't disturb her with such rubbish, and have a good evening" or something like that.
Right. Dr. Oli used to respond so sometimes, and they used to rail him.
But I mean, to me, it was a weird question to ask her. She had already articulated a position on that. So it was like, why are you asking her that?
Richard, when I wear my shoes.
Say what?
When last you went by cash shoes? He minding the business.
Last week, Sunday.
Yeah, I went there Sunday to Audience. That karaoke Sunday, right? Nice.
But not this Sunday gone, the Sunday before. But yes, that's the karaoke Sunday, yes.
A karaoke Sunday gone was the final, right?
Right. When I went, was the semi-finals, yeah.
Right. I was shocked when I went to see also a Heineken. There's a Heineken.
How much for Heineken?
Mr. Patrick.
$28.
Some places it's 30.
It was 25, it got up to 28.
Mr. Patrick, yeah, Richard don't pay for Heineken when he goes somewhere. Somebody's always buying for him.
That night, several people bought me Heineken. I will admit that. But what I'm saying is that, but Mr. Patrick, what do you expect? And some places it's 30. And
what I'm watching the Beaman Association, the Bar Association guy was really talking about business. So how to go out as style. Not everybody could afford anything again. And if everything go up, it's our Biden's going frequent. Those are pretty nice little body video there. I go in there, only see 3 people, 4 people, 5 people right now.
Well, it depends on which bar you go to, because some bars, Heineken is 25, some bars it's 30, and places like Castro is 28. So it depends on where you go. And some bars it might be even cheaper than 25.
Why are we discussing Heineken price? Get on to the next call and say, Charles.
Because we are Heineken drinkers.
Well, good morning to you.
That's 3 minutes in Heineken.
Yeah.
Morning to Charles, morning Richard, morning Wendell. It's too
Good morning.
I can talk. And talk. It's early.
And they're not advertising here.
That's some bars open already, you late.
Snacking diner bars.
I'll be late as well. Here is not good.
Bars at Aragwes.
Whatever fire, well, right? But the fireworks, especially, I'm happy that there's going to be no fireworks in my ears. I hate this thing, this noise. But you know something? Why go through all of that because when I say go through all of that, you can still buy it and you can still use it, but on specific days and times and so on. So you go through all that trouble to buy something just for an hour or a short period wherever it has some kind of function. Well, when I say function, some particular thing. What's the sense? Why didn't ban the complete thing? Ban it entirely?
Are you talking about fireworks?
Yes, fireworks.
No,
because some people enjoy fireworks, so it's a balancing of the rights of other citizens. Some citizens love fireworks. Fireworks for special events like Independence Days and New Year's is something that's global. So the balancing that.
Don't want to have what difference it makes.
No, it does. And it still balances business. They still get to, you don't want to
Yeah, because there are businesses that function on the sales of fireworks. So it's a balancing of business interests. Yeah, it's a balance. You might like fireworks, but there are plenty of people that love fireworks, you know.
I like fireworks.
But
I just don't like the 3 hours of fireworks.
It's a nice party thing up in the sky, but I don't like it, first of all, because it's very out.
Right, but as I say, because you mightn't like it doesn't mean the rest of the society.
No, okay, I don't like it because I say that, but guess what? And they went Parliament to bring a bill to pass something law against this and against
to
that.
manage it.
So,
but they didn't know.
Majority of people don't like it. The animals.
No. It's to manage it. It's not to ban it.
I find it should ban. I mean, it should be banned. Anyway, the next point I have to make.
All the Caribbean people like to use that word ban quick. All the Caribbean people like it's something in all your genetics because it has so much banning that happened under colonialism. Only like that word ban, boy.
No, well, it's not me.
You just say it. You just say it. Own your words. You just say it. I find it should ban it.
By the time you see noiseless fireworks, if they have that, they didn't have to ban anything. Everybody would have noiseless fireworks, and people still be employed and still have their business.
Yeah, but you can't go. Wee! It's a noiseless fireworks.
Yeah.
Why is that one?
You gotta go wee when you hear the noise.
I feel sorry for them, and yes, I feel sorry for them because I read where one of them said he's only makes $795 a month, but he have his machine. So it's a sense he have his machine anyway. If you're making a little bit of money, when it's $6,000, they normally pay every month. You don't need no machine, so that's the best time now for you to give it up with a good excuse because you're making money for you. But
it does make money if you're making $750 a day. In 10 days you pay the rental. I just do that quick math there. Better live with $6,000 a month for the machine, and you get $750 a day from the machine. In 10 days, you pay for the rental already.
Yeah, and you have 20 days.
You have 20 other days to make some profit.
But this guy said he's only making $795 per month. So what's the sense he have a machine?
Per month.
To give it up. He's just lying. That is the point I want to make. He's lying. So, okay, you have a wonderful morning and day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I don't know why people feel business people should always be open about the profit margin. Why? That's none of your business unless you have to state it or nothing. And even the ones who have to post it in the public, you really feel they're posting the correct thing? No. Nobody does that.
For people who have never, which I've said before, for people who have never operated a business in their life or have never been an entrepreneur in their life, business is hard.
It's hard.
It's a hard thing. So your margins matter.
Yep. And there isn't a business on planet Earth that declares the actual figures. None.
All those big companies like Amazon and Apple and Google and all of them, they do all kind of things to get away from all kind of taxes and fees.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if Amazon was to tell them exactly how much money you're making, kind of taxes they would put on them.
You're making joke, yes?
But they do all kind of things to avoid their taxes.
Yeah.
Paying as much taxes because they're trying to maximize as much money as they can hold on to.
Yeah.
And
so
some of these people...
Okay, all right. The poll is up, people. Yeah. Do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? All right, that's our poll this morning. Do you support
this has nothing to do with the fireworks bill. I just ranting a little bit more right now. The poll is up. All I could see it, read it. Do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? As the polls start voting, I find Arima is coming across. I drove down Arima again this last night, and.
Yeah. Like stress, yes.
And I
felt that Arima is coming across like a depressed city. It's very depressed. You have a little bit too much homeless people who are all over the place. That's one. And two, plenty of the lights going on that road, which I've talked about before, that main Queen Street that merges and becomes Lord Kitchener Avenue. But just by where KFC used to be there, all those lights, they're not working. And nobody in that area reports to, well, first of all, to find...
Yes, dark, Richard.
Yeah, just to find out the lamppost number. I say, you know what? Let me be a good citizen and try and find out the lamppost numbers are driving by, and then me call TFT. And as I'm driving past, oh, that's an exercise. You have to park up and go with some detergent and something and try to scrub that poll to see what that number is. Nobody maintains those polls, obviously. So when they ask, what's the poll number? I'll say, I don't know. It's the third poll from the corner. That's what you have to say. Because figuring out them poll numbers is like an exercise in, I don't know. And I'm driving around and say, why is this town looking so depressed? They have first of all, they have nothing indicating it's Christmas except people buzzing around. A set of homeless people and homeless people, just a set of carts park up and line all over the place. It was just very depressing. And I'm like, you know what? For once in my life, it flitted across my mind very briefly. Should I move out of Arima?
Oh Lord, Miss Sampson.
Briefly. It flitted across my mind.
You and Miss Sampson switch addresses?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like too depressing. And Arima Borough Council and the MP for Arima, shame on both of you all. Shame on you, MP for Arima, Penelope Beckles Robinson, and shame on you, Arima Borough Council.
No, call the mayor name. Call the mayor name too.
I have to call his name. Shame on you, Arima Borough Council. It's one of them.
Call his name.
One of them.
Call his name too.
Yeah,
don't let him get away. Baliram Maharaj.
Shame. How Arima is looking, and there is no effort to improve how Arima looks, and shame.
Richard,
Tampuna
Road.
Shame.
Tampuna Road.
Tampuna Road is a mess, Wendell. I drive up Tampuna Road. You know how many accidents that road could cause?
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, vehicles are just swerve in front of you, and it's like, what the hell? Jesus, you're almost seeing the light to walk into, and then you realize, wait, there's a car in front of me. I'm not dead. Okay, let me stop. Okay. Because we're avoiding a pothole.
Yes.
Before we go for the news and come back.
That street to turn in my shops of what they call that what they call that Mandalay.
Yeah, Mandalay.
Giant potholes even to exist out of it.
Hold on. Oh, let's stop. Hold on.
No, Sir Charles.
We're going for the news and coming back. Hold on.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek. Good day. The family of kidnapped businessman Derek Stones Tardew says they're not offended by Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisasar's remark that his kidnapping seemed fishy. They believe she meant no harm and that her comment was simply a pun about the incident happening on Monos Island. Tardew and his wife Clarabelle were taken from their home on December 6th, with kidnappers demanding $2.5 million. Relatives found the house ransacked after receiving a voice note of Tardew pleading for help. A disturbing video later showed the couple with guns pointed at them. Police say the investigation is at a highly sensitive stage and are urging the public to avoid speculation. Relatives remain worried, especially since Tardew has serious medical issues and needs daily medication. Opposition Senator Dr. Amory Brown has slammed the Finance Bill 2025, calling it a hodgepodge from what he termed a fake and fraudulent government that has wrecked the economy. Leading the opposition's response in the Senate, Brown said the bill takes a scattershot approach, with measures not even mentioned in the national budget. He accused the government of incompetence, hypocrisy, and launching a tax attack on citizens. While businesses face falling sales, Brown also criticized the handling of regional tensions, claiming even visitors had canceled upcoming trips to Trinidad and Tobago. He said job creation has collapsed, alleging 50,000 people were dismissed, and argued that property tax rules unfairly burden small landlords. Brown warned that rising costs and taxes could deliver the final nail in the coffin for the entertainment industry. Oilfields Workers Trade Union President General Ansel Roje has filed a defamation lawsuit against former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley over a 2022 Facebook post that Roje says falsely linked him to criminal activity and efforts to destabilize the country. Roje alleges the comments, published on August 29, 2022, accused him of supporting unlawful acts and attempted sabotage. The lawsuit stems from a post on Rowley's official Facebook page that drew more than 1,000 reactions and 300 shares, in which Rowley suggested Roje and then opposition UNC encouraged highway blockages and aided marauding gangs of metal thieves. Roje argues the statements, made while Rowley held the nation's highest elected office as Prime Minister, carried amplified influence and fueled public hostility toward the labor leader. The said post was malicious, false, and defamatory, and calculated to damage the claimant's personal and professional reputation, nationally and internationally. Roje maintains he has never endorsed illegal activity and remains committed to peaceful industrial advocacy. He said Rowley was allowed to retract the remarks in a pre-action protocol letter, issued the same day the post was published and at a news conference, but no retraction followed. The statements and imputations contained in the post are inaccurate in fact and substance, and the subject post as a whole is highly defamatory of the claimant. The claimant had no involvement, indirect or otherwise, with the activities referred to by the defendant. Roje's lawsuit also contends that Rowley's attorney, in a response to the pre-action letter in October 2022, denied the allegation of defamation, citing the defense of justification and fair comment, contending also that there was a basis for the post. The lawsuit seeks a full withdrawal of the allegations, a public apology, and damages for reputational harm. Roje is represented by attorneys Keel Taklal Singh, Leon Kalacharan, Matthew Alahar, and Johanna Richards. 6 men, including 2 police officers, have been freed of multiple child trafficking and sexual offense charges after the state failed to establish a prima facie case. The ruling was delivered on December 9th by High Court Master Margaret Sukraj Goswami during a sufficiency hearing. The men had faced a wide range of allegations, including recruiting and harboring a child for exploitation, sexual offenses, and misbehavior in public office. But the court found that the prosecution failed to prove a crucial element, that the alleged victims were under 18. The state missed its deadline for written submissions and offered no evidence, such as birth certificates or testimony, to establish the victims' ages. Defense attorneys objected to any further delays, and the master discharged all 6 accused. The state later attempted to ask for committal on rape charges, but the court declined. Prosecutor Danielle Thompson has indicated the state intends to appeal. In the region, Guyana has signed a new agreement with the United States aimed at expanding military cooperation between the 2 countries. President Irfan Ali confirmed the signing after talks in Georgetown with senior U.S. defense officials, including Patrick Weaver and Joseph Humire. Ali said the move forms part of Washington's emerging Southern Spear security strategy, which will see greater U.S. investment and attention towards South America and CARICOM states. The agreement includes strengthened long-term training and collaboration, as well as continued joint operations under the Shipwrighter Agreement, which allows U.S. personnel to pursue drug trafficking vessels in Guyanese waters. When asked if this could lead to a formal defense treaty, Ali said discussions are ongoing and cooperation is expected to deepen in the coming months. The signing came a day after Ali reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to working with international partners to protect regional security and combat transnational crime. The United States has reportedly seized a large oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. President Donald Trump revealed the operation during a roundtable today, saying it was the largest tanker ever seized, though he offered no further details. Reuters reports the seizure was led by the U.S. Coast Guard, but the vessel's name and location have not yet been confirmed. The move comes as the U.S. continues a major military buildup in the Caribbean, part of its Southern Spear. Operations targeting drug trafficking. The deployment includes multiple warships, the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, and several lethal maritime encounters that have left more than 80 people dead. Washington has also increased pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, accusing his government of involvement in drug smuggling. Maduro has condemned the U.S. actions as harassment aimed at seizing Venezuela's oil reserves. Tensions escalated further this week when 2 U.S. F-A-18 fighter jets circled the Gulf of Venezuela before returning to the Caribbean Sea. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Turn up the mic. When I say I'm fed up with hard, all you feel is joke I'm making. I don't want to hate on love, but sometimes I keep debating. She say she only lover, she only friend. We make a wish, now eat with pen. I sleep and I had a dream, wake up and I make a vow. Soon as everything complete, we saw one now. What I do wrong again, lad? Tell me what I do wrong again. People calling me name, lad. They say I get hard again. The bush I cut it, the garden up. Put the fruits in a bucket, but the girl she keep on complaining. When I do it, they say put your back into it. All I know I try, she name calling with another guy. What I do wrong again, lad? Tell me what I do wrong again. People calling me name, lad. They say I get hard again. I buy she chocolate, I buy she rose. I push she out, I take she back, I pick up the clothes. I never leave her, when people tell me she hard. And now she find a man and she telling me she done. What I do wrong again, lad? Tell me what I do wrong again. People calling me name, lad. They say I get hard again. The bush I cut it, the garden up. Put the fruits in a bucket, but the girl she keep on complaining. When I do it, they say put your back into it. All I know I try, she name calling with another guy. What I do wrong again, lad? Tell me what I do wrong again. People calling me name, lad. They say I get hard again. Judge still if you do. Alright, try. Judge
Morning just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Judge still.
Yeah. Tell me what I do wrong again. Tell me what I do wrong again. Hey everybody, good morning to you once again. And of course, if you are just joining us for the very first time this morning, thank you very much for being here. It is New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Of course, we take you above and beyond. If you've been here from since Anthem, the Anthem crew, good morning to you. Welcome to the second hour of the breakfast show on Net Radio. And of course, this is where we say a very special good morning to the folks also on Gael Caribbean TV. Thank you very much for being here, all right? I remember when we come off of the Gael TV feed after 8 o'clock. Remember, you can listen to us all day, every day at newerattradio.com. New Era TT Radio. Put it in your browser. That way you'll be able to get us on TuneIn. Once you get us on TuneIn, all your Alexa and Google devices, you can activate. So before we get back to the show, just to let you know, well, the morning poll is up, so you're voting yes or no. Question being today, do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? has been passed. So do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? Yes or no? First, and then you can put in any comments, right? Stay with us on New Era TT Radio. And we will be back shortly.
There's no Christmas like Christmas on New Era TT Radio.
Laughing children tug at Mr. Santa. Teddy bears.
Feel the laughter, the lights, the love. That's what Christmas feels like.
Christmas Eve, casually I was walking down the street. One Christmas Eve, casually
We keep the joy alive and the music playing all season long. Merry Christmas from your friends at New Era TT Radio, taking you above and beyond.
It's Christmas. Can't do it without black cake, homemade bread, sweet bread, pone, pastel, and punchacram. Get it at Val's Kitchen in Dabadi. To place your order, call 758-0148. Yes, delivery can be arranged. Val's Kitchen, Dabadi.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Looking for pet supplies that wouldn't bite? Visit Bow Wow Supply Limited, your friendly family-owned pet store at the corner of Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trinidad City.
We offer fabulous prices,
great service, and a wide range of foods, treats, toys, grooming products, and accessories. Everything your pet needs in one place. We are open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Coming today, Bow Wow Supply Limited, Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trinidad City. Your pet's friendly place. Call us at 640-7184.
All right, we are back, and of course, we are doing our poll still. Do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? That's our poll this morning. We want plenty votes with this one. I can tell you from now, because most of the votes, I am supporting it. Richard, I think, also supporting it, and I'm so Sir Charles. Sir Charles had no choice. But it's a bill to the government. It's long overdue, and you know me. I don't like hypocrisy, people, right? So I'm listening to a parliamentarian, a former government minister, sitting in the Senate now, talking about it and praising the government. And I'm saying, you sat there, you had a chance to do something about it, and the last government didn't do anything. I was so upset. I don't like hypocrisy, people. I can't take it. To me, if somebody talking on this bill on behalf of the opposition now, it should not be somebody who sat in the last government, because they did nothing. That's how I feel about it. That's why sometimes I couldn't bear to hear some members of the UNC, because I know they were in government too. Let new people talk. You understand? Anyway, but share this message I get now from a former retired police officer. I wouldn't call his name. A senior police officer too at that, right? And he used to be in St. James. Good partner, real friend. He said, next thing you know, bulge start targeting you. That's what he said, man. So you see the poor thinking of police sometimes. I say he could only target me. Corresponded to him. I say, I'll take that risk. I say, although I think he probably already did, because most people know my vehicle. I say, but he can only do so if I break the law. Yeah, because sometimes I don't even park on the road. I park on side streets and walk to where I go. You understand?
Yeah.
If that's I be thinking, because I called his name and called him an idiot, he go target me. What he go target me and do? You give me a ticket for just walking the road now? What you give me a ticket for? Anyway, enough of that.
Yes.
We are picking up a noise on Richard's microphone or something in the background. I don't know.
I have nothing on it. I have nothing except my wonderful voice.
Or something screeching.
Not by me.
It's on your microphone. I see.
I ain't hear no noise.
All right, go ahead.
You gotta watch yourself. You need a chair and a discerning air.
Need nothing.
A couch and a discerning air. I know someone who needs that right now. Trust me. Anyway, Cheryl Henry says yes, Richard. David McCarthy, yes. Apollonius, yes. Shoma Paul, yes. Gregory Boyer, yes. You see how people, that's why I like these people in this chat. They show a lot of balance, Marlon Motley, yes, because they could easily take the position and supporting nothing that government bring. But
some of them do.
Yeah, nah.
Yes.
Nah. Very few.
Go ahead.
Scott, Marlon Motley, yes. Dave Gosain, yes. Suzanne Jessup, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. A lot of chat between Scorpio and Pepper. Valerie Mendoza, yes. Moscovado, I'm not sure. Yes to Ava Smith, yes. Oh boy. Eunice Dublin, yes. Ron DeSantis Jr., yes. Garfield Hazel, yes. Nicola McNichols, yes. Joseph Clement, yes. Deborah Noel Serret, yes. CJ from New York, yes. Psalms 23 Eli, yes. Yes, that happened last fireworks. Gemma Peters Halls, yes. Robert Taylor, yes. Michael Robinson, that's from Yokohama, Japan, yes. Bernadette Yates, yes. Michael Cadet, yes. Claire Lendor Rollins, yes. Marcia Rock, yes. D-Mark, yes. Trini Merle Kitchen, yes. Wayne Joseph, yes. And Jason Samuel, yes. It's the first, yes, Jason Samuel, right. All members of parliament in the lower and upper house said yes to the bill. James Kamau says yes, and Diane Payne says yes.
Okay, so Pauline says yes. Sean says definitely yes. Mr. Billy says yes. Slick Money Group says no. Horatio says yes. Peter Wilson says no. Zena says no. Kenwin says yes. Junior says yes. Frank says yes. Linda didn't vote. Miss Sampson says yes. Brenda in Penal says yes. Where's my friend from Tobago these days? I'm not hearing you.
Who's that
Tobago, what happened?
Who?
My friend who normally texts us from Tobago. I'm not seeing her these days on the WhatsApp.
Tobago. So Zina is talking about earlier on.
All right, so our poll this morning, do you support the passage of the fireworks bill? We had 45 people voting in the allotted time. Of the 45 people voting, 42 of you said yes, and 3 of you said no. So, of course, the yeas have it with our poll this morning, and that's it. The poll is not an end. So don't bother to vote.
Where you got
Well, you could vote if you want, but we wouldn't check it.
Where you got 3 no's from?
We just hear your opinion,
Where you got 3 no's from?
Sir Charles?
Yeah, I had a couple of.
I know you had Peter Wilson and Zina.
And Slick Money Grip.
Oh, Slick Money Grip. Okay.
You're challenging the integrity of my counting?
No, I heard him said, I remember those 2 names because it stood out.
Yeah, but if I say it's 3 no's, it's 3 no's.
Yeah, okay. All right, Richard. All you Richard bad now.
No, if I'm counting exactly what you will say.
And you're doing a fantastic job.
You know, and so Charles was, well, Sir Charles always has kind of, a mixed bag of votes. His votes always kind of weird sometimes.
These have the fanatics voting on WhatsApp.
Yeah. From both directions.
Anyway, is our guest in yet?
No,
not yet.
All right, well, let's take a couple calls now.
Actually, no, he's not coming.
There was a rumor going. You know what? I'm not going to raise that.
He's coming. He's coming.
I'm not going to raise.
Yeah. All right. So, of course, we have our guest in studio. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Lalla. Good morning, and thanks for joining us in the breakfast show this morning.
I haven't seen you.
It's been ages. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
We're good.
Last time I saw you was at a party by your place.
Well, that's a good place to see me.
Last time I saw you. Yeah, man. But you can send the invitations through Sir Charles now, you know. You don't have to go through Steve.
Now that Sir Charles has resurrected.
Yes.
I will.
Yeah. Great to have you on board, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for speaking with us.
I got a case for you to take on just now, too, eh?
Oh, Lord. Talk your private business off there, please. But, not so, Sir Charles?
Of course.
Yeah. So, we wanted to discuss the home invasion bill.
Yes.
And, of course, which has the stand your ground implications in it. What in terms of let's start with an overview. What's your take on that bill? And I'll ask you, and I'll tell you why I'm asking, because I know it was passed by a simple majority. That's the government had started off saying that it was going to be 3/5. Then they changed it to a simple majority, and I'm of the opinion that maybe they should have gone the 3/5 because I think there's some constitutional issues there. But I don't know. What's your overview of that bill?
Well, let's go back a little bit in terms of examining the law quickly in terms of how self-defense works.
Yeah.
Now, while in principle, as you know, you have a duty to defend yourself, you don't have to use equal force. You can use force that is viewed to be proportionate in the circumstances. You remember, Richard, a long time ago, it was if you came at me with a cutlass, I could only use a cutlass or something of an equal or lesser value.
Yeah.
Now, the law was evolved. So, self-defense remained a very sort of subjective defense that you still had to go through the entire process, before the law was changed, a preliminary inquiry, a full trial to determine whether or not you exercise self-defense, whether it was justifiable or whether the defense could not stand. So a lot of people in Trinidad who may have been victims of home invasions, as this piece of legislation seeks to address, may have exercised self-defense, and I've done a couple cases like that, but because of the circumstances were unclear or because of what people said, they were committed to stand trial for murder. And we know those cases take 10 years before they're dealt with. So the new stand your ground legislation is not altering the law insofar as what it defends self-defense is. What it does, it creates offenses of somebody committing home invasion. But at the same time, it gives you that right, which is already enshrined in common law, that you do not need to retreat, you can defend yourself. Where the misconception takes place is that you don't have a right to go beyond what the law as it was permits you to do in defending yourself. So in other words, somebody stealing mangoes or somebody in the yard who poses no threat to you or your family, you take action against them, you will still be charged and prosecuted. You could waive the act all you want, it doesn't mean you will not be charged. And bear in mind also, this is not an automatic ticket to get out. The police still have to investigate. And the police very often are very difficult in examining facts. And there are many cases as prior to this legislation where it was so blatant their self-defense, screaming at you that the person should not be charged, they still charge them. So what this tries to do is codify, in a way, what are your rights in terms of an attack in your home, which is a little, it raises the standard a little higher than if you were on the street or somewhere else. But you still go through the process of a police investigation, a police determining whether or not you should be charged, whether the act applies to you. It may end up before the DPP, whether the DPP himself decides whether or not you there's a tribal matter or not, and then you go through the normal process. So a lot of people think because whatever I do, I'm automatically going to be able to waive the act and get away with it, and that's not the case. And again, we have discussed this in the past, guys, that murder should be categorized in different varying categories. A person who is charged prior to this bill for self-defense of defending somebody in their home is automatically, well, while there's a right to bail, but the courts have been very reluctant in granting bail to people who are charged with murder. And there's a lot of difficulty getting a bail for persons. But we have advocated for a long time that you should have categories of bail. If you're defending yourself in your home, or the extraneous circumstances, or you're under attack, or there's provocation, you shouldn't be categorized with somebody who runs into rob somewhere and shoots and kills with intent. So that's a debate for another time. But for this particular discussion, what the law does is try to codify in a way that the police have a responsibility to examine the act in terms of their investigation of you to determine. And then again, you have a clear-cut defense that was not defined so that the average person could not pick up a piece of legislation and look and see what self-defense was in the context of this.
But doesn't this home invasion, is it an act now, or is it law?
Well, I'm not sure if it's law yet. I know it was debated and passed.
Yeah, I'm unclear about that myself.
So it's on its way to become a law. Let's put it that way.
Tell me something. Doesn't it reduce or water down the issue of proportionality? Because you talk about proportionality, and in previously under self-defense, the issue of proportionality that you raised is an important ingredient of it. But I think this bill seems, in my opinion, to water that down. That issue of proportionality. I think it phrases it reasonably believed or something like that. And it doesn't have an objective standard, at least in my interpretation of it, an objective standard of proportionality or reasonable proportionality encoded in the act or bill.
Well, what it does, it really, using the Castle Doctrine, what it does is says your home, you are entitled to use any force that you seem necessary at the time. The problem is, until this law is tested and goes before the court, the problem is going to be how the police interpret it in terms of an investigation. So I'll give you an example of how this law would come into play. So there's a case I was doing up to recently where a licensed firearm officer who is serving in the system, at his home, he has somebody in his yard there are not much lights in the yard, see somebody stealing his water pump. And I think we all understand the value of a water pump. So when he goes, he approaches the guy, he's in his bed sleeping with his wife, child, and comes down into his own yard. The man attacks him with a cutlass. He fires a warning shot and then starts a retreat from the man, shouting for the man to back off. He slips and falls because it's an undulating terrain. And the man, in swinging the cutlass, misses him, but his back is turned. So at the same time, the guy shoots. So the bullet goes from the lower back, comes out of the upper chest. So you can tell the trajectory has to be somebody lying down, not standing up, because it's at an angle, a 45-degree angle. Nonetheless, the man runs away, captures him, the police come. 3 years later, so he gives a statement, clear self-defense, I'm in my home, this is the weapon, everything, no witnesses. He's charged for murder. And the law, murder, and this is not the first time. There are many cases that, so he's in his home defending himself, his wife, licensed firearm in that case, all the facts line up, but the police took the view, well, he got shot in the back, so you know what? Murder. So goes into prison, is refused bail by a judge, because I applied and they said, well, serving officer, he might be a threat, we don't know, very indiscriminate. So I think there are cases like that the act will hopefully try to resolve. Now, I hear all this talk about, well, you could shoot anybody, and if your neighbor come in and you vex. If people take this act to feel it is a weapon, they'll get themselves in a lot of trouble. So if you have a neighbor you have a dispute with, and you end up shooting the neighbor, the law is not going to apply to you as a ticket out of jail. What the law is going to do is going to examine, and the police will have to examine what were the circumstances, what were your threat, what is the surrounding circumstances, not dissimilar to what takes place now, but it kind of inches it up now that you have a greater degree of comfort by it.
Yeah, but therefore does not open the door. Does not open the door, therefore, for those wide interpretations that you're saying that people should not interpret it as, and that the courts are eventually going to decide where that boundary lies. Because I think in our bill, it includes property, which is kind of the example you're saying, but not necessarily that you're under direct threat for your life, but that property and protecting your property authorizes you for that castle doctrine, which I think goes a little further than the stand your ground laws in Florida, because Florida is usually the example they hold up, because I think Florida laws tend to be that your life is under imminent threat, which is why you've had some cases where people have been charged with murder. They just came to knock at your door and they killed people and whatever, and they're saying, well, that's unreasonable. Didn't we expand it and go and push the envelope a little further by including property akin to what you were saying, except for the example that this person was weaponized?
Well, I think when the context of properties, they may tie you up, they're robbing your house, taking all your belongings, and in that context, in that melee, you exercise the right of self-defense in terms of defending yourself, your property, your family. And I agree with you, the courts are going to have to interpret as time progresses, as to the police and the DPP, how malleable or how much this act can be expanded and how it's going to be interpreted. And I think it's very important for a lot of dialogue to take place, because this is a very serious act and people may misinterpret it. And it is not meant, the context or the thinking behind this is for the vulnerable people who have been victims of either home invasion or robberies or attacks or rapes. And there are so many cases that have taken place of that nature that are unreported. It is how do you deal with it from that endemic problem that we have in the society. But then you have people who may want to use it mischievously. And that is where I think making public pronouncements on it, and the court eventually will have to decide as the final arbiter, but it by no means gives you the right, well, I see somebody coming into my yard, I think he's a trespasser, and I shoot him or chop him or what have you. And if people were to take that approach, they will get in trouble. And it's not rocket science to figure out that this is really an exception to the rule legislation that allows you in very dire circumstances to utilize it. And again, as I always tell people, the worst thing you could do from a lawyer point of view is when you rush to give statements without thinking, without analyzing what happened, without taking a breath of air or even getting advice. You could very easily, the English language is such a funny thing. You could say something, meaning something, and it's interpreted another way. So again, the police at the end of the day have the power to decide whether they're going to charge you or not. So I mean, I've heard so much things on social media. People say, well, I could do what I want, and the neighbor comes, or I vex with this one, or the corner man, and it doesn't extend to that. So again, I think the education and programs like yours obviously is always great, that people understand that this is an exception to the rule. This is not a license to kill. And
whilst most people these days have CCTV cameras installed at their homes and businesses and so on, should it be mandatory that firearm users install CCTV cameras both outside and even inside in the common areas of their home? You don't think that should be part of the law?
I think any firearm user who's licensed should do that, because it would be the only way that could protect themselves. So apart from it being mandatory, I think common sense will tell you, make sure and have that, because sometimes, and I've done cases in the past where robberies have taken place in business places and firearms holders have shot people, and it's the CCTV footage that actually determined the circumstances that got them acquitted at an investigation level. So whoever could afford a CCTV camera, I mean, it is always valuable, because sometimes it speaks louder than words. And then very often, remember, when you're put in a circumstance of a 5-second or 10-second ordeal, you're not thinking of all the consequences, you're acting. And very often, if there's camera footage, it could be very, very helpful to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you, in your opinion, is the definition of home invasion accurate or a little too broad? And I explain why, because I think under the bill, if my memory serves me correct, and I just had some notes, is that if you unlawfully enter, which is clear, you unlawfully enter, you're a trespasser, you have a problem. Or if you remain in a dwelling house after being invited in and then asked to leave, and you don't leave immediately, you are now, you have kind of clauses like that. And I don't know, what's your take?
Well, I mean, that will also be subject to interpretation while it's broadly drafted. But common sense comes into play. I mean, I tell you to leave, and only if you become a threat to me. It can't be that, well, my drunk friend is here and he doesn't want to leave because he's having too much fun, and I decide to inflict harm on him. So again, it has to be sensibly understood in the context that the law will interpret it and the police will interpret it. What are the circumstances that led to a confrontation or attack? It's not simply that it gives you out. So while it's liberal, it does not in any way just entitle you to act, I would call it unlawfully. This is just codifying what self-defense has always been. But I think giving the police a little more, hopefully, discretion to act prudently in many instances where I think they're wrong. And I trust that this might be an opportunity, and hopefully they're advised properly in terms of how they're going to interpret cases.
There's a question here on the chat from Jason Samuel, Mr. Lalla. Can a non-licensed gun holder in the household use the gun in a case where the licensed gun holder is unable to?
Well, that's an interesting point. There's a rare defense of necessity where only it's hardly ever used, but in those cases that it falls in that category of necessity. Now, at the end of the day, if your life is in danger, and let's say you're a licensed firearm holder and they have you tied up and they're beating you, and your wife sees the gun and it is in the pursuit of defending you, saving your life, and she uses it, yes, she can. Her defense would be necessity, but the police will then decide whether or not she's use a firearm unlawfully or not. But again, when you're balancing life or death and a charge for unlawful use of a firearm, it's better, but you still would have to defend it and justify the circumstances. And the police could also exercise their discretion looking at the law of necessity, whether or not you acted lawfully in those circumstances.
Now, you're using the term police all the time, right? In terms of determining things. Is it that the police must get the advice of the DPP before moving forward, or can they proffer those charges without going to a DPP?
They don't necessarily need the DPP's advice, but generally in murder matters, they would seek advice. Now, they have a lot of lawyers who are in the police service now, who are police officers who have trained as lawyers, may not have the experience of the DPP. So a lot of charges now, the TTPS does their own advice and makes their own recommendations internally. But again, we still see a lot of abuse taking place in matters that should not be prosecuted. And it comes back to the point, our system is so abusive that it takes you 10 years to get a murder trial, 15 years. And what happens when you're innocent? And there's no recourse, no compensation. Bail is still a big issue. If you don't have money, you can't legally hire a bailer because it's meant to be illegal. And sometimes the court creates cash sureties, but there's still a lot of major problems in the system. And when you want to prosecute people and you take 5-10 years out of their life and it's on shaky evidence, you deprive people of so much. And I think the police have to always be under scrutiny. It's not anti-police, but if they're not scrutinized, then things fall through the crack. And I think Justice Westman James delivered a judgment yesterday where somebody was charged for obscene language and other cases. He got an award of maybe 100,000. But the evidence, from what I recall in the newspaper, was that the police officer says, I'll charge you anyway, and it'll take 5 years to deal with it. Man won his case, but then he spent 5 years, then files a case for malicious prosecution. Do you get a lawyer to file it? Then you spend another 3 years, then a court gives you vindication. I mean, it's not fair. And since I'm a young lawyer, and my father was a lawyer, told me that he used to hear about the police, the 3 things they'll always hit is resisting arrest, obscene language, and annoying language. And up to today, all right, I'll give you that. I mean, we still charging people of annoying language and obscene, in cases where obscene language is now part of a literary context in normal life on cable TV. So there's still so many abuses that we're backward, and there's abuse that takes place every day. And while we want to always commend the police and pat them on the back because they're doing a good job, but I still see a lot of abuse. And as long as there's abuse, we have to be vigilant because the one innocent man is not worth the 10 guilty.
You're very right.
Yeah. And in terms of the home invasion bill, and how does it treat if somebody is mentally ill and enters your premises, which can happen, and how a homeowner treats with what is a potential, which may come under the definition of home invader, but the person is mentally ill. Is that something that will also be subject to the broad definition or boundaries as interpreted by the courts?
Well, again, the police as the first line of investigation will determine what is the level. So in other words, you would see many times police officers have to draw their firearms and sometimes shoot people who may be mentally challenged but are a threat. And again, it all boils down to a threat level. So if somebody who is mentally challenged poses a threat to you and you exercise a right, it all is about the threat you face. It's not somebody who's just sitting down in the yard and unable to find their way or wanders in the wrong yard. You just have to shoot them. It always comes back down to what is the risk, what is the threat you face, and why did you exercise your right. So you go ahead and try to do things in an indiscriminate matter. Unfortunately, you'll face the consequences. So there's no uncertainty that this law only is in exceptional circumstances where you have acted lawfully, and that means you have to be under threat. There must be a real realization of it. Now, obviously, lines are going to be blurred in time, but this is where the court will have to determine, and it being codified will, in time, see cases where the lines are blurred, how the judges rule on it.
Yeah, because I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that the home invasion bill talks about a homeowner reasonably believing that they're under threat or something like that, and there is not a reasonably objective standard. I think they just left it as reasonably believes or something like that.
But Richard, you remember the basic principles of objectivity and subjectivity in criminal law. So it is what you perceive at that time.
Honest belief, I think it's
Honest. So, but it has to be reasonable. What would a reasonable man think in terms of not? So again, your whole yard is locked up. There's no way of somebody entering your premises, but you decide through the window to start shooting at the man because he's in your property. You'll have a problem. You'll probably get charged there too. So again, while reasonable belief exists, this is not a license to kill. This is really to protect people and give them that comfort that, listen, somebody comes in to harm your family or harm you, do whatever you can once you are satisfied that you are at risk.
Is it the bill has passed? Yes, but from what you are saying and what people are probably feeling it is, there needs to be a lot more public education where that is concerned, because people may just, as you said, feel I now have the license to do so, to just kill somebody, and I can end up in more problems than I am already catering for. So is there more public awareness that needs to continue where that is concerned?
I think it is important because it's an important piece of legislation. We've had a lot of problems in the past with self-defense as a defense as lawyers. Codifying it at least creates a better framework of a defense. But I think John Public has gotten carried away with this as a license. And I think people understanding, even homeowners understanding what are the parameters and how you can use this as a defense would be useful. So for example, firearm users, this bill does not entitle you to get a license. It talks a lot about firearms, and there's been a lot of debate about shooting, but the Commissioner of Police, because of this bill, is not going to increase his grant of licenses. He's still going to use his discretion to grant licenses to who he thinks is fit. Now, I think firearm users who are licensed need a lot of education. I've done a lot of training sessions in the past, and a lot of people, they train on the range, they know how to shoot, they can do anything, they could do some assaults while shooting, but it boils back down to the law. And the worst thing is when you get charged, and for anybody who's ever been detained by the police and put in a cell, it changes your perspective on everything. You could be as bad as you want. You hear that door clang on you, it changes. So if you're not aware of the consequences, only when that door closes on you and the investigation going, you realize that you're not as invincible as you thought, and you don't have all these protections regardless of who you know. So I think education is very critical, and I think it's important that people understand what are the parameters, what is this designed to do, how can it help them, and how can it hurt them.
But I mean, I must agree with you. I think that the public education aspect with regard to this bill is super important, so that people really understand what the bill will allow and what it does not allow. And I think that has to be very clear to citizens across Trinidad and Tobago. What I will say though, I think the government's intention is to, they have stated it as their intention to liberalize the access to firearm licenses, which I think is kind of connected to this bill in a sense, because they want to liberalize it and maybe even take it out from under the purview of the Commissioner of Police, even though he has advocated for it to remain under his purview. Even though I don't know if I agree with that, I think it's better maybe that a body deals with it, some body set up to deal with licenses. But it seems as if that's the intent of this government.
Well, as it stands now, the Commissioner of Police is the sole authority.
Yes.
They have expressed that intention. Until they take it away from him, he has the sole power. And I can tell you, as of now, he's not exercising it liberally. So that, unless I would think a team of people maybe a psychologist, maybe a lawyer, maybe a senior police officer, maybe somebody else should comprise a committee that makes a determination than one person doing it. And then remember also, realistically, a commissioner of police is overwhelmed on any given day with dealing not only with crime, administrative issues, promotion issues, a host of matters. And then when he has to exercise his discretion on a report put before him, he may not always give it the level of scrutiny that it ought to have. Now, coming back to firearms, I think there should be criteria of people whose lives can be at risk, and it does not necessarily mean, because I know one of the reasons they refuse the applications, because I do a lot of firearms related matters. One of the reasons is, well, there's no threat to you or you're not a victim. Now, who wants to be a victim to then apply?
Yeah.
But there must be a criteria. I mean, obviously, different people would be at different risk. Let's say even you guys on the radio, you may take controversial matters where you get serious threats to your life. We're dealing in an age and a time where things are different. Now, how do you assess it? Do I then say, well, look, how long has this man been an advocate on the radio, on internet? What is his track record? Who is he? Let us see these. Let us examine it. Okay, this is a person. Let me check his family. Let me check his background. Let me check what the neighbors say. Is this somebody who's law-abiding? Is he going to submit to the training? Is he going to do X, Y, and Z? And then yes. But it can't be indiscriminately done where one gets it and the other. And then some people wonder, well, how come John have it? Because he doesn't have in your mind, the right to carry it. So that's a big debate, but I don't think...
I'm glad you raised this, because I think a news report came out this week or this weekend, I think with Nairi Alfonso, speaking about the fact that people are being refused now, and these are my words, right? People are being refused FULs because they have not recently had a threat. It's almost like because your threat was 5-10 years ago, you don't qualify, as opposed to somebody who has now received a threat.
Well, that is a fact. It's a generic response you're getting.
That's crazy.
You have not demonstrated how much cash you move and that there's no live threat to you. Now, that ought not to be the criteria. Remember, at the end of the day, every situation is based on the facts. And it can't only be that, well, I'm a businessman walking around with $1 million in cash and I have a massive business, so I fill the criteria. At the end of the day, any one of us could receive a very serious threat. And yes. Then given the proliferation of guns on the streets and violence and home invasions and all of those things, there should be a committee looking at it on an individual basis where they can assess it more subjectively. Right now, I still feel it's more of a rubber stamp, although I'm seeing more people being granted who are applicants for the last 4 or 5 years. They're increasing it. But I'm not satisfied that the criteria that they're using or the examination or interview, from what I have been exposed to, is sufficient to justify people who should and should not get firearms.
Yeah.
I would just like to ask you, before we go, as a citizen, you live here, you see what's going on and stuff. And on the other side, from the criminal element point of view, do you see or feel that this bill will really, in its present form and right now, would actually be a deterrent to home invasions?
Well, at the end of the day, it's how it comes into play now. So the bill is there. We know the criminal element has no regard for law. I mean, Richard will know from a jurisprudential point of view, laws are created, but then morality determines whether they commit crime or not. Mm-hmm. So it is only when people see the enforcement of this, or you hear people exercising their rights according to this act and not being charged in circumstances that are justifiable, will it send a message. So the act by itself is there, but from a criminal element point of view, only if they realize there's a consequence to it. And I mean, I draw jurisprudence is like the philosophy of law, and I draw the example. All of us may or may not have taken a chance in the night to break a traffic light because we feel we could take a chance when we go through, but it's breaking the law. But then the same applies to a man committing murder. It's the law. What separates the traffic light and the murder? it's morality, it's where your mind is at, what governs you, not the consequence of it. So we are at a stage now, sometimes, unless you put your hand in the fire and realize you're going to get burned and you drive through that light and you get charged, will you understand there's a consequence? So I think from that point of view, only when the act operationalizes itself, where people rely on it, and they either get off in the right circumstances or not, then it will send the message.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our time is on us at this point, but thank you so much for giving your expertise this morning, and we appreciate the conversation.
Yeah.
Always good to see you guys and chat.
Thanks
Time.
Thanks for the clarity. And I'm kind of worried though that a lot still depends on the subjectivity of a police officer.
Yes, it does, and that worries me also.
That worries me.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Have a good day. Take care.
Yeah. Oh, all right. That was Lalla. I haven't spoken to in a little while. Always very clear and concise. Always very clear. All right. So we'll take a news break now, and then when we come back, we'll say goodbye. Bye-bye.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek. Good day. The family of kidnapped businessman Derek Stones Tardew says they're not offended by Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisasar's remark that his kidnapping seemed fishy. They believe she meant no harm and that her comment was simply a pun about the incident happening on Monos Island. Tardew and his wife Clarabelle were taken from their home on December 6th, with kidnappers demanding $2.5 million. Relatives found the house ransacked after receiving a voice note of Tardew pleading for help. A disturbing video later showed the couple with guns pointed at them. Police say the investigation is at a highly sensitive stage and are urging the public to avoid speculation. Relatives remain worried, especially since Tardew has serious medical issues and needs daily medication. Opposition Senator Dr. Amory Brown has slammed the Finance Bill 2025, calling it a hodgepodge from what he termed a fake and fraudulent government that has wrecked the economy. Leading the opposition's response in the Senate, Brown said the bill takes a scattershot approach, with measures not even mentioned in the national budget. He accused the government of incompetence, hypocrisy, and launching a tax attack on citizens. While businesses face falling sales, Brown also criticized the handling of regional tensions, claiming even visitors had canceled upcoming trips to Trinidad and Tobago. He said job creation has collapsed, alleging 50,000 people were dismissed, and argued that property tax rules unfairly burden small landlords. Brown warned that rising costs and taxes could deliver the final nail in the coffin for the entertainment industry. Oilfields Workers Trade Union President General Ansel Roje has filed a defamation lawsuit against former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley over a 2022 Facebook post that Roje says falsely linked him to criminal activity and efforts to destabilize the country. Roje alleges the comments, published on August 29, 2022, accused him of supporting unlawful acts and attempted sabotage. The lawsuit stems from a post on Rowley's official Facebook page that drew more than 1,000 reactions and 300 shares, in which Rowley suggested Roje and then opposition UNC encouraged highway blockages and aided marauding gangs of metal thieves. Roje argues the statements, made while Rowley held the nation's highest elected office as Prime Minister, carried amplified influence and fueled public hostility toward the labor leader. The said post was malicious, false, and defamatory, and calculated to damage the claimant's personal and professional reputation, nationally and internationally. Roje maintains he has never endorsed illegal activity and remains committed to peaceful industrial advocacy. He said Rowley was allowed to retract the remarks in a pre-action protocol letter issued the same day the post was published and at a news conference, but no retraction followed. The statements and imputations contained in the post are inaccurate in fact and substance, and the subject post as a whole is highly defamatory of the claimant. The claimant had no involvement, indirect or otherwise, with the activities referred to by the defendant. Roger's lawsuit also contends that Rowley's attorney, in a response to the pre-action letter in October 2022, denied the allegation of defamation, citing the defense of justification and fair comment, contending also that there was a basis for the post. The lawsuit seeks a full withdrawal of the allegations, a public apology, and damages for reputational harm. Roger is represented by attorneys Keel Taklal Singh, Leon Kalacharan, Matthew Alahar, and Johanna Richards. 6 men, including 2 police officers, have been freed of multiple child trafficking and sexual offense charges after the state failed to establish a prima facie case. The ruling was delivered on December 9th by High Court Master Margaret Sukraj Goswami during a sufficiency hearing. The men had faced a wide range of allegations, including recruiting and harboring a child for exploitation, sexual offenses, and misbehavior in public office. But the court found that the prosecution failed to prove a crucial element, that the alleged victims were under 18. The state missed its deadline for written submissions and offered no evidence, such as birth certificates or testimony, to establish the victims' ages. Defense attorneys objected to any further delays, and the master discharged all 6 accused. The state later attempted to ask for committal on rape charges, but the court declined. Prosecutor Danielle Thompson has indicated the state intends to appeal. In the region, Guyana has signed a new agreement with the United States aimed at expanding military cooperation between the 2 countries. President Irfan Ali confirmed the signing after talks in Georgetown with senior U.S. defense officials, including Patrick Weaver and Joseph Humire. Ali said the move forms part of Washington's emerging Southern Spear security strategy, which will see greater U.S. investment and attention toward South America and CARICOM states. The agreement includes strengthened long-term training and collaboration, as well as continued joint operations under the Shipwrighter Agreement, which allows U.S. personnel to pursue drug trafficking vessels in Guyanese waters. When asked if this could lead to a formal defense treaty, Ali said discussions are ongoing and cooperation is expected to deepen in the coming months. The signing came a day after Ali reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to working with international partners to protect regional security and combat transnational crime. The United States has reportedly seized a large oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. President Donald Trump revealed the operation during a roundtable today, saying it was the largest tanker ever seized, though he offered no further details. Reuters reports the seizure was led by the U.S. Coast Guard, but the vessel's name and location have not yet been confirmed. The move comes as the U.S. continues a major military buildup in the Caribbean, part of its Southern Spear. Operations targeting drug trafficking. The deployment includes multiple warships, the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, and several lethal maritime encounters that have left more than 80 people dead. Washington has also increased pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, accusing his government of involvement in drug smuggling. Maduro has condemned the U.S. actions as harassment aimed at seizing Venezuela's oil reserves. Tensions escalated further this week when 2 U.S. F-A-18 fighter jets circled the Gulf of Venezuela before returning to the Caribbean Sea. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
It's Christmas. Can't do it without black cake, homemade bread, sweet bread, pone, pastel, and punchacram. Get it at Val's Kitchen in Dabadi. To place your order, call 758-0148. Yes, delivery can be arranged. Val's Kitchen, Dabadi.
Looking for pet supplies that wouldn't bite? Visit Bow Wow Supply Limited, your friendly family-owned pet store at the corner of Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trin City.
We offer fabulous prices,
great service, and a wide range of foods, treats, toys, grooming products, and accessories. Everything your pet needs in one place. We are open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Coming today, Bow Wow Supply Limited, Cane Farm Avenue and 5th Street West, Cane Farm, Trin City. Your pet's friendly place. Call us at 640-7184.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
On the break, I looked over at that video with Joshua Ruggiero and his mom. I really enjoyed that video, yes. I really enjoyed that video. I wish more people would do things like that. You know, even if it's not with our mom, but somebody, you know. I like that. I really like that video. I really want to go India though, eh? I mean, I intend to go Japan, but I really would love to go India one day.
Yeah.
See what it's like, you know? Richard, you don't travel. You don't even go to Tobago, sir.
So,
you don't like travel. You freight plane or something. You know,
I don't like planes, but I'm afraid planes.
But you know what I mean?
I'm not afraid of planes, but I'm not comfortable on a plane. Like some people are 100% comfortable. They can sleep. They're totally comfortable.
I can't sleep, but I'm 100% comfortable.
No, I'm not 100%.
I generally don't sleep.
I'm not 100% comfortable. Yeah, and I certainly cannot sleep.
I think
if you take the right, you take 2 shots of Hennessy, or you take a sleeping pill.
Drugs. But no, I entertain myself by watching movies or whatever.
Overnight flights, you will fall asleep at some point in time.
No, and I was in an overnight flight when I went to New York. And what I did,
that flight, time the flight get up in the air an hour later, they gave you something to eat. That is no flight. I'm talking about the overnight to Europe or the overnight to Asia.
To New York, plenty of people were sleeping, and everybody was sleeping at one point except for me. There was a little bright light by me because I was on my iPad watching a movie on Netflix that I had downloaded. And I downloaded about 4 or 5 to make sure I was covered.
I used to do that, but I tend to kind of take a little hour and a half doze off now. I used to be up right through.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part of it for me with flying is the takeoff. Something about taking off that's always put jitters in me, especially when the plane gets off the ground. Yeah. I always feel like that is at the point in time when the plane can just fall off the air.
It's the most dangerous time of flying, right? Taking off and landing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I'm not even worried about the landing, but you see the taking off.
Yeah.
Taking off is really have me in a mess way.
Because you go through the atmosphere, especially through the clouds, and the plane almost always shakes a bit. You know, there's hardly ever a smooth go past to get to the altitude, the correct altitude. There's hardly ever a smooth ride to that.
No.
You know?
For me, it always feels like just as it starts to climb and those last wheels come off the tarmac, and you just feel like if the plane is reaches that point, and it just like if it's just starting to feel like if it's going back down.
Yeah, sometimes you get that drop a bit and then it goes back. You
Yeah,
get
but
that.
it just shoots off. And, oh.
You get that. But the bigger the plane, the smoother the ride, right? Sometimes you don't feel nothing in those big planes, like the ones going to Europe and so on. Those are huge planes with 3 seats on one side, 5 in the middle, and 3 on the next side. You don't feel a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, but I love flying. I love traveling. You know what I mean? And whatever happen. So.
What that mean? Whatever happen.
No, I've reached this stage because, at the time, the fear, sometimes, as you said, the fear used to hit you, right? As Sir Charles said, you used to have a fear. But now I say, if that is my fate, then so be it.
Oh, you reach that stage in life.
Yeah, I say a prayer whenever the plane is taking off. And I always say a prayer when the plane lands. Once those wheels hit that ground safely, I always say, thank you, Jesus. Always.
Yeah. You have to.
Yes, sir?
Yeah. Is that
but again, as I say, once you're in the air, the worst turbulence now don't affect me. You know what I mean? Because I watch the people who are tending to us. And
Yeah,
if they're not
they
fearful,
know that, and they know that, huh?
Yeah.
They are trained to know that people are going to watch them to see if they get nervous.
Yeah. If you're looking nervous, I'm nervous. Trust me.
Yeah. And I always sit. I'm 99% time I sit on an aisle where I could get up and walk about the plane and go in the back and chat with the attendants or get a free drink or something, beg for a free drink. I always do that. I always engage people on a plane, but flying to me, going and seeing places, even if it's just sometimes you see so many people walking through an airport. You meet so many different people. You know what I mean? You see so many different families, couples, singles. You meet so many different type of people. It's just a joy sometimes seeing people. You know what I mean? And people reaching out to you to find out where you're from, and things like that. That's what I enjoy a lot about traveling.
Yeah. But guys, I just want to take you back to the conversation that you just had with Lalla. It's very interesting because, as I said, people feel that have a license to just go out and shoot people. And if people really don't think, they would really end up in more problems than the criminals. So you really have to.
The bill does give some latitude, that's it, Charles. And I think, and so even in discussing with Om, and with some of the points that I raised, Om had to say, well, the courts are really going to decide where that line is, where is that boundary, because it liberalizes it. It moves the goalpost, in a certain direction in favor of the homeowner.
But you know what?
And like I said before, it does include property where other stand your ground legislation, particularly in Florida, because that's mostly the state that has a lot of it. Where property, you still have to be under threat of your life. Under our bill, it just says property and life. So that if you figure your property is under threat, you could react. But what Om is saying is that they're stealing your mangoes. There's no right to shoot. But the courts are already going to decide that in how the act is framed, whether it would include such kinds of situations and how liberal. Well, actually, you want to see the word liberal now. What kind of latitude homeowners may have. And he's right. There has to be a lot of public education alongside this particular piece of legislation.
The worrying part to me, and confirmed it in the end there, is that at the end of the day, a police officer still has that authority to charge or not charge, and you still have to wait your turn to get into the court system. That to me is the worrying part.
Yeah, that is really something. But you know what is kind of comforting to me where all of this whole thing is concerned, because we have a lot of people right now who are firearm users, and I don't know if it's because we don't really hear much of it, if it's happening, but most people with legitimate firearms, I have not seen or heard that there is any sort of real abuse taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, where that is.
No, we've never really had that reputation in Trinidad with firearm users. Gary was one who was saying that for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the evidence to say that legitimate firearm users are abusing their firearm? You know,
So-
we've had incidents of them, but it's not widespread.
Yeah, and that is a comforting thing. So to me, because of the fact, I mean, like, I don't have a fire, I don't really need a fire, I want a fire, but I think of what, you know, what could happen, and I for people who have firearms, I'm not ready to worry about it, because I've been around people who have, we you know, we party with it all over, and I've never really seen people just pull out the firearms and start to abuse people, you know, because of that.
Yeah.
Incidents occur, but Trinidad is not as, you know, we don't have incidents like what you see in the United States. But incidents have occurred where people have taken out their firearms and they were drunk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that nothing
Most times it's a drunk person.
Yeah, but nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or very few incidents have happened where it went in a particular direction. But human beings are human beings, eh?
Yeah.
But you know, these guys are never coming at
an
you.
argument they could say, I will shoot you, you know, people will say things like that. Eh?
Yeah. You know, these guys, though, who are coming at you, when you look at all these videos of people attacking people, they don't even know that person may actually be a firearm holder or have a firearm. They're taking chances.
They assume they are not.
Yeah, they're taking a chance, you know. When you go and grab at a phone from somebody or grab at the bracelet, you have to be sure, you don't even really care that person could have a fireman and turn around and shoot you.
Yeah. But you see, that is because they in reality, they know that 99% of the population don't have a firearm.
Well,
And it has not been happening. But if within the past, a couple of them who have tried it have fallen because the person do have a firearm. It comes just like when you see certain things happening in Port of Spain when people are getting robbed. And that is because they believe that there are no police around.
That too. You're correct.
Yeah.
And most of the time they're right.
Mm-hmm. Sadly. Police reckon.
You know, so that is why the thing happened. If people realize, like when the man grabbed the lady bracelet on Frederick Street, if it had two plainclothes police officers to hold him at that point in time, others will say, "Nah, boy, they are wrong." I am reading something yesterday on the news about women in Port of Spain, how they are being targeted and being robbed. You know, no deterrent to stop that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the society. My son would normally drive to a point because of where his relatives live, park up his vehicle and take a maxi too. And after that last maxi incident, he ain't doing that at all. He afraid maxi.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? So now he had to go through all that traffic up and down. I mean, it's mental torture sometimes on people, you know, with what people have to go through.
Yeah, but I will tell you something, because I remember there was a time, right? Like, I mean, I'm not as active as before. Not we are doing like parties and stuff. So I'm doing like 4 or 5 parties in a night, and I have to move from A to B. It's down the bus route, and I tell myself, well, if they catch me, the fine at that point in time was $250 or $200 or something like that. I said, right, party number 1, go pay for that.
Because it's safer.
And not the surface, it's for time.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And if I get caught, I could afford to pay that. But when it moved to $2,000, I done that. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That was a serious deterrent.
Yeah. Until you meet balls in St. James a day.
I tell you.
You change all that.
And so we shall end. So New Era TT Radio continues on the stream. NewEraTTRadio.com and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. Keep listening to the excellent programming throughout the day. Of course, today is Thursday, so the weekend begins tonight. People, at a second after midnight, we are in the weekend. So have a fantastic day, whatever you do, whether you're at work. Christmas is certainly in the air. And today is the last day of school for many students. So children will be in full Christmas swing from tomorrow. So remember to smile and laugh. Enjoy life. It's great for your health.
Hold on 1 minute before you go there, guys. Hold on 1 minute. Just to let people know, all of you on the stream, that coming up at 8:30 this morning, when we come off of the TV stream and you come to the website, we are going to be featuring David Abdullah. They have Tuesday Talk. So we carry that on Thursday morning for you, so you can get a different perspective on what's taking place in our society also. So that's coming up at 8:30 this morning, in a little bit, actually, on NewEraTTRadio.com.
All right, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. One life, you gotta live it.
Absolutely. This has been The Breakfast Show. We know you have choices in what you listen or watch, and we're glad that you chose us. You have impeccable taste.
You do.
The Breakfast Show is out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on.